All right, the next step that we're going to do is to calculate standard deviations for each stock year that's there. We need the standard deviation, or stock month. We need the standard deviation for valuated and equally weighted. Basically, mechanically, this is what you're going to do. It's going to say it's equal to standard deviation of the sample, and then we're going to highlight the first year of data, and then we're going to end it with a parenthesis and return. So this is my standard deviation. Then we do the same thing for the next one over. Of course, you got to do it once for every year, which is going to take a really long time. There's lots of years there. And you're welcome to do it by hand. But I'm going to show you an alternative method to do this, which is a pretty advanced Excel method. And you may screw it up once or twice, but see what you can do. First thing we need to do is get your developer turned on. Okay, so we'll come over here to our file command, click on options. When you go to our customize ribbon, and what you'll do, main tabs, you want to make sure that developer is checked, because it probably is not checked right now. If I uncheck my developer and hit OK, you'll see that the developer is not there. But that doesn't mean it's not there. Come back to my options and customize my ribbon, and I want to add in my developer, and yes, so there's my developer. Alright, what we're going to do is create a recorded macro, and the recorded macro is going to step through the process. So I'm going to come over here to my developer, and I'm going to click here that I want to use a relative reference. So that's not relative, that is relative when it's highlighted. And the next thing I'm going to do is say I want to record a macro. So once I hit record macro, name it macro 3 is fine. It's going to record my actions, and then it's going to play them back anytime that I want to. So I'm going to come down here, starting my cursor here at the beginning of the year, first month of the year. Come down here to the last month of the year, and I'm going to come all the way over and click here and say this is equal to S standard deviation of the sample. Now I'm going to highlight the year to 1945, end it with a parenthesis. I'm going to hit return, and then I'm going to click right here. I've recorded my macro, so I'm going to click stop recording. Now what I want to do is I'm going to run my macro. You notice where my cursor is. When I click on the macro, we're going to go ahead and run it. So now I'm at the end of 1946, and I've got my standard deviation here calculated, and my cursor's at 1947, in which case I can go ahead and run my macro again. So now I'm at 1948, my standard deviation has been calculated, and I'm ready to run my macro again. So in this case, instead of having to highlight and do everything else, all I'm doing is going ahead and running my macro. And then we can actually link this macro to a set of keys that is just going to, so I would just like say hit alternate K or something like that, and it will run the macro automatically. And I'm going to leave that to those who are interested in how to do it, how that will be calculated. I'm going to come back here to the top. So I've set my macro up relatively, so I ought to be able to click right here for my equally weighted dividends, or equally weighted returns. Come back to my macro and run it. And now it's just, this is my equally weighted. So this becomes my value, this is my equal, macros, run, macros, run, macros, etc. Okay? All right. So that's the end of this particular step. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys work on that rather than confuse you by moving forward. Once you have your 2 series of standard deviations calculated, we'll move on to the next step. Thank you.